This week, Kim Kardashian West's kids are meat-free. The oldest Ag-gag law in the US is struck down. Joaquin Phoenix dedicates his Oscars acceptance speech to animals. And the EU may raise the price of meat to fight climate change. All this and more on Live Kindly's weekly vegan news. If you're new to our channel, you can subscribe by hitting the leaf icon in the bottom right corner of the video. Click the bell icon to turn on notifications. And please be sure to like and comment below. Actor Joaquin Phoenix condemned the dairy industry in his Best Actor acceptance speech at the 92nd Academy Awards. Phoenix won the Oscar for his performance in Todd Phillips's Joker.
And I think at times we feel, or we're made to feel, that we champion different causes. But for me, I see commonality. I think whether we're talking about gender inequality or racism or queer rights or indigenous rights or animal rights, we're talking about the fight against injustice. We're talking about the fight against the belief that one nation, one people, one race, one gender, or one species has the right to dominate, control, and use and exploit another with impunity. I think that we've become very disconnected from the natural world, and many of us, what we're guilty of is an egocentric worldview, the belief that we're the center of the universe. We go into the natural world and we plunder it for its resources. We feel entitled to artificially inseminate a cow, and when she gives birth, we steal her baby, even though her cries of anguish are unmistakable. And then we take her milk that's intended for her calf and we put it in our coffee and our cereal. And I think we fear the idea of personal change because we think that we have to sacrifice something to give something up. But human beings at our best are so inventive and creative and ingenious. And I think that when we use love and compassion as our guiding principles, we can create, develop, and implement systems of change that are beneficial to all sentient beings and to the environment.
He also recently starred in a short film called Guardians of Life. The film was directed by Earthlings filmmaker Sean Monson, which Phoenix narrated back in 2005. Guardians of Life highlights animal agriculture's impact on the planet. The new short is set in an emergency room, where a medical team led by Phoenix works to save a wildfire victim. The film exposes the plight of the Amazon and its indigenous communities. It also highlights deforestation and biodiversity losses occurring across the globe. Wildfires have not only affected the Amazon in Australia, but also California, Siberia, Angola, and the Congo. Phoenix, a vegan since age 3, said in a statement that he took the role to raise awareness about the meat and dairy industry's effect on climate change. Phoenix added, "The fact is, we are clear-cutting and burning rainforests and seeing the negative effects of those actions worldwide. People don't realize there's still time, but only if we act now and make sweeping changes to our consumption." Coming up, Nestle partners with 2 vegan ingredient suppliers to make new products. Florida now has a vegan fast food drive-thru. Life, the vegan drive-thru, opened in Cape Coral, a coastal city in the southwestern region of the state, in late December. The new restaurant offers vegan versions of fast food classics. The Sausage breakfast sandwich features a house-made plant-based sausage patty, dairy-free cheese, and a tofu egg on a bun. It also serves coconut bacon cheeseburgers, coconut BLTs, and plant-based tuna melts. So far, vegan drive-thrus have primarily opened on the West Coast. Plant Power Fast Food, a California-based mini chain, has 5 restaurants throughout the state. 2 other locations are on the way, and the company plans to have 10 new locations by 2021. Co-founder Zach Vuga believes that healthier, vegan fast food is the wave of the future. Vuga told Long Beach Eyes last November that we totally understand that diet is such a personal issue, and that each person goes at his or her own pace. The brand is really all about turning people on to how delicious plant-based food can be. Unilever-owned drugstore beauty brand Suave is now cruelty-free. The move is a result of talks with international animal rights nonprofit PETA. Suave is an iconic brand. Its shampoos, conditioners, soaps, and deodorants are drugstore staples. According to the company, 1 out of 2 American households buy Suave and a product is sold every 14 seconds. We are delighted to be a part of PETA's Beauty Without Bunnies program. Suave is known for its high-quality beauty products made accessible to all since 1937. Berengier Lubatar, Suave's senior brand director, said in a statement. Although Unilever has not eliminated cosmetic animal testing, it is working for regulatory change, according to PETA. The corporation supports a global ban on animal testing and has been working on developing alternatives for more than 30 years. Suave joins the growing list of Unilever-owned beauty brands that are now cruelty-free. Dove became certified cruelty-free in October 2018. Over the last 18 months, Simple, St. Ives, and the newly launched vegan brands Love Beauty and Planet and Love Home and Planet have joined it. Kim Kardashian West isn't eating meat anymore, and she says her kids follow a mostly plant-based diet too. According to a recent Twitter post, the Keeping Up with the Kardashian star says her kids, Psalm, 8 months, Chicago, 2, Saint, 4, are all joining her in the plant-based diet with the exception of North, 6.5, who still eats fish.
Look what I have for dinner tonight, guys. Vegan tacos. This is all plant-based.
Kardashian West announced last year that she was eating plant-based in a bid to help reduce her lifelong battle with psoriasis and sciatic arthritis. Before the arthritis hit, I spent about 4 months doing everything natural. Every ointment, cream, serum, and foam you could possibly imagine, and everything from the dermatologist. She wrote in a blog post on her sister Kourtney's Poosh website. I even tried an herbal tea that tasted like tar. I tried celery juice for 8 weeks. Then I'd do celery juice mixed with the tea. I would do that twice a day. I was just exhausted by everything. I changed my diet to plant-based, which I still follow.
All of our meals. You guys know I eat plant-based now.
Nestle just partnered with 2 Canadian vegan protein manufacturers to source ingredients for its plant-based products. The Swiss food giant is partnering with Birkin and Merit Functional Foods. Both companies process high-protein crops into versatile ingredients. Consumer demand for plant-based meat alternatives is growing, and with it, the demand for crops needed for production. Canada is one of the largest pea-producing countries in the world and is the primary grower of canola. Both crops are high in protein and versatile ingredients for plant-based food and drink. According to Reuters, Nestle's deal with the 2 companies is long-term. Merit plans to build a 20,000-ton per year plant by the end of 2020 in Winnipeg, Manitoba. The new facility will produce both pea and canola-based proteins using Birkin's technology, and further expansion is already planned. Research indicates that more African Americans are going vegan at a faster rate than white people, according to data analytics firm Gallup. In general, people of color are more likely to reduce meat consumption, follow a flexitarian diet, or go vegan. Health and the environment are key motivators for changing their diet. 23% of American adults say they ate less meat in the past 12 months. Approximately 31% of people of color reported reduced meat consumption in the same period, while 19% of white people reported cutting back on meat. Gallup reports that more people are adopting flexitarian diets for health, followed by climate change. Coming up, Europe may raise the price of meat to fight climate change. The oldest Ag-gag law in the U.S. has been ruled unconstitutional. The term Ag-gag refers to laws that target whistleblowers of animal abuse within the farming industry. The laws aim to prevent undercover filming or photography of farm activity with the intent to do harm to the business. Kansas introduced the first Ag-gag law in the U.S. 30 years ago. Now, according to Mercy for Animals, this law has been nearly completely struck down by the U.S. District Court for the District of Kansas. The court said it violates the First Amendment. The Animal Legal Defense Fund, a group that seeks to protect animals through the legal system, along with a coalition of advocacy groups, filed the lawsuit. Stephen Wells, the executive director of the legal organization, said in a statement, "For 30 years, Kansas lawmakers have suppressed whistleblowers from investigating cruel conditions on factory farms with this unconstitutional law." He added that the decision is a victory for the millions of animals on factory farms. The price of meat may go up in the European Union to reflect its taxing impact on the environment. Under the plan, the price of meat would go up beginning in 2022. It would add a projected 32.2 billion euros per year by 2030. Veal and beef prices would increase by 47 cents per 100 grams, and 36 cents for pork and 17 cents for chicken. The time has come for us to act decisively with policy on the environmental consequences of animal protein, the price of which has been kept artificially low for far too long, said Philip Mansbridge, executive director of ProVeg, one of the coalition members. Beef and veal prices have the highest increase due to their environmental impact. Per the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, cattle raised for beef and milk account for 65% of livestock sector emissions. According to Mansbridge, the plan is fair for farmers and supports the transition to a more plant-based food system that we so urgently need. Revenue from higher meat prices would be used to help farmers invest in more sustainable practices. It could also be used to lower value-added taxes and consumer subsidies on fruit and vegetables. Chicken, pork, and beef consumption may drop by 30%, 57%, and 67% respectively by 2030. Additionally, the change could reduce the EU's carbon dioxide emissions by 120 million tons. The proposal would be added to the European Commission's Farm to Fork strategy, which aims to create a more sustainable food system by implementing further restrictions on the use of pesticides, fertilizers, and antibiotics. It would move the EU toward a circular economy and aim to reduce the carbon footprint of food processing. Additionally, it would also help consumers choose healthy, sustainable diets and reduce food waste. That's it for today. What did you think about Joaquin Phoenix's Oscar speech? Let us know in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We'll see you again next week for Live Kindly's weekly vegan news.